Hey all, so what we're going to be doing today is figuring out how to figure out a wire size or how many horsepower we have with a motor, or even down to breaker size. So if we have a motor with a nameplate kind of faded, what have you, I'm going to show you how to figure out what the averages of it, and then what size breaker, what size wire. So let's dive right into this. It's pretty easy stuff. I can talk fast, but I'll slow it down. So the basics are, if you have 1 horsepower motor, it's equal to 746 watts, okay? So let's say we have 5 horsepower motor. 5 times 746 is 37, let's see, I'm looking right there on my chart, 30 watts. That's our watts. That's our total watts that's going to be our draw from a horsepower at 100%. Okay, we're not even going to worry about that yet. Now, if you've ever heard of a pie chart, P over I times E. This is a symbol for current, this is a symbol for voltage, symbol for power, wattage. So that's why I put it over here so you can easily see that. Now, anything like from up here to down here, you divide. So your power, your wattage, divided by your amperage, your current, will give you the voltage. Vice versa, power divided by your voltage will give you your current. That'll give you your breaker size. Now your voltage and your current together, you multiply and that'll give you your power, okay? So here we are. So we've got, let's see, 3730 watts, 3730 watts. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to divide by our voltage. Let's just say it's a 120 watt motor. That's all you have available. So 120, okay, that's our voltage. So 3730 divided by 120 is 31.08 blah, blah, blah. This is now, what did we find? We found that our wattage divided by our voltage gave us our amperage. Our amperage is our breaker size. So we've got 31.8 amps. That's what it's drawing, okay? But with a motor, you always have a startup. It's an influx, you don't know what type of motor you have. At its full load capacity, it runs even, but at the startup, it jumps up, and that's where it draws more power and it can trip a breaker. So if you put this under a 30 amp breaker, it's going to pop every time. It's already overloaded when we're not even talking about the startup current for a motor. Now, this could be anything from a dishwasher to something in your garage. Always oversized where you got 20% left over. So you want this to be at 80% capacity. So, but 31 anyways, you're not going to find a 35 amp breaker. So you're going to go to a 40 amp breaker. 40 amp breaker. The wire size for a 40 amp breaker, simple. It's number 8. Now if that's stranded, that's THHN. Let's not get technical, okay? So my tutorials are for the beginner. I just try to break them down just to help everybody. There's going to be some debate. What about this wire size? What about heat? What about this and that? We don't care about this. Is just at our home, maybe at our shop or what have you. We want to talk about 3-phase. That could be another conversation, but that's not for this one. You can always look this up for 40 amp breaker. What size wire do I need? I mean, it's the internet. It's AI. It's really easy. But see, so everything. So what you do, a rule of thumb is you can cover it up. Wattage divided by voltage will give me my what? Amperage. Wattage divided by amperage will give us our voltage. Cover up our wattage, amperage, times our voltage will give us how many watts that we have. It's all this reverse things that you remember when you were a kid in high school or whatever, but I didn't. I was a little busy doing other things. But yeah, just a simple rule of thumb, 746 watts. So, and if it's 240, then it's this divided by 240, and then you're going to get your breaker size. But you want to be at 80% of that breaker. So again, if it was 50 amp, 60 amp, you want to upsize it 70 amp, and then the wire has to go accordingly. You can't just have a bigger breaker and then a smaller wire. In essence, if you did that, so if you had a 60 amp breaker and 50 amp wire, conceivably, the wire goes before the breaker trips. So like a filament in a light bulb or something gets overloaded, and that's how fires start in your house. Will that happen every time? No, but we're talking about code and safety and the right things. So, I mean, never do anything like that with a bigger breaker. If you have a breaker that's tripping or something or other, well, then, you know, what is the problem? Well, 10 times out of 10, it's either, well, it's not 10 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, especially if it's on a motor, it's the motor, the wire size, the breaker size is undersized. You could have some fault, maybe there's something else going on, but 9 times out of 10, this is how you determine it. But you never, if it's tripping, you put a bigger breaker. You would have to rewire it and use the other breaker, but never just put a bigger breaker under a smaller gauge wire. You could have an overgauge wire and a smaller breaker, because that's the point of, if it's not going to trip that breaker, it sure isn't going to trip that wire. Just because you have a Corvette and it says 55 miles an hour, you can go faster, but it doesn't mean that you're supposed to or you should. It's still 55. We are braking at the size of the motor, at the amperage of the motor. It's full load current. That's where our breaker size is. Now, wire size, never undersized. You can oversize, if that's all you got. It's 20 amp, and then you got a number 10. That's fine. But, well, let's say it's 15 amp. You had number 10, that's fine. But you put it on a 20 amp breaker, because we're going to try to get it where we're down to 80% of the capacity. And then that way that we know that we're always safe, especially with the motor, especially that startup as they get older, the windings and stuff like that with dirt and dust, it kind of binds it, so it stops that inertia of that as the motor gets going and winding it, and it takes more of a startup, just like your car at a stoplight. It takes more gas to take off than it does when you're running smooth. So, I mean, logically speaking, I'm sure that makes sense to you. But yeah, this is the way you find just anything in your house. You talk about lights, lighting loads. You have 20 lights at 60 watts a piece. Multiply them all together, that's your wattage. Well, and then you say, well, and it's a 120 volt circuit, okay, great. Whatever that equals will give us our amperage. And if it's 21 amps, split them up, put them on two 15 amp circuits, you're good. So this wattage, this is your pie chart. But wattage, amperage, voltage. You divide, just like here, from here to here, you divide, and across, you multiply. This is the basics of anything electrical. I mean, this can pass you the journeyman's exam. No kidding. There's other stuff you need to know about voltage drop and stuff like that, but this is the basics of it all. So this can determine everything. So you are just a lot smarter than you were before, and you're good looking too, just like me. Right. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you.